Week 9. Let's get it, guys. It's your host, Ralph. I'm here. Let's talk some football. Let's get into it. Busy week for me, but we are going to press ahead. A lot of cross country travel, guys, feeling a little under the weather. It's not COVID. I'll live, but we're going to get in a quick one so everybody has the info that they need. This is Tiger Bomb Sports Audio Entertainment's The Process. This is where we talk fantasy football. We talk season long. We talk DFS. We talk about winning. We talk about crushing it on these sites that people say you can never win money on, like DraftKings, FanDuel. We get up in their face and we take something away. Every single week is the point. And season long gets a little boring when you're crushing it. That's why we turn to the DFS world, if you will. Guys, if you're new to the show, welcome. If you're a longtime listener, love the hardheads, welcome back. Couple of places where you can find us, www.tigerbombsae.com. That's our website. Tiger Bomb has a lot of podcasts. Well, not a lot, but we got a couple. True crime, baseball, football, NASCAR. But take your pick, tigerbombsae.com. If you want to listen to your podcast on the go, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, you can do that. Just search for Tiger Bomb Sports Audio Entertainment. Will pop up. Boom, you're in business. You can also watch on YouTube. Search it for the same thing, Tiger Bomb Sports Audio Entertainment. I am a repeating doll. Not that last part. That's just me being loopy. That's the YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, same way, at The Process TBSAE. Okay, that's the ways that you can find us. Guys, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. In terms of last week, we don't have a lot of like opening notes from each of the contests because the game went so in our favor. A lot of things that we thought would happen happened, so not a lot of surprises. And so we will run right along into our week 7 analysis and get it rolling with a little bit of housekeeping. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to get the top 5 that they don't get on the podcast. And this week's top 5 is going to be the top 5 best football movies of all time. Always a fun topic. Everybody's got a little bit of a different take on what they like, what they think is the best. You guys are going to get to hear what I think that is this week, at least the YouTube subscribers, listeners, whatever. And we'll start that off with number 5, which is The Program. Guys, I love this movie. If you haven't seen it, you're doing yourself an injustice. It's about college football, but it's got an all-star cast. We got a young Halle Berry. We got James Caan. We got a lot of heavy hitters in this movie. And I think that the story is kind of cool too. So I won't spoil it for you, but most of us should have seen it by now. A lot of one-liners in the football locker room growing up from this movie, but The Program is a fantastic start to the countdown. Number 5, The Program. We're going to get into a little bit of the housekeeping. This week. All right, so housekeeping for this week. How did we do last week, seasonal wise? Guys, if you've been listening to my recommendations, then you guys should have made out well last week. But the seasonal thing is as expected. That's why we trust the process. We know we'd be doing pretty well there. But if you want to talk DFS, finally got on the right path for everybody. I'm, very happy we're able to do that. It's been not a tough start to the year, but had to tweak a couple of things. Haven't exactly nailed it, but last week we exactly nailed it. We got a lot of stuff correct. Listen, if you would talk to anybody last week, it was you had to play Mahomes or Allen in that matchup. There's no other way to go. And then the strategy becomes which pieces do you build out from there. We did ourselves a great value by staying away from that idea for the most part. And we went Burrow Chase. We went to the New Orleans homecoming, as I talked about, liberally on that show. So we really nailed it right there and separated ourselves from everybody else by just playing Deebo Samuel along with Diggs along with those guys. So that was another cash game play. So Diggs and Chase. And if you guys remember, we were able to pay up with those guys and pair them with Burrow because we paid down at running back, and that paid off really well. Brees Hall, we were on that. That worked out really well. Wilson was fine. Henderson, not so much, but Walker, Dobbins left the game. Walker and Benjamin were fine. So, guys, we did all right. We finally have figured out, got on the tail of this, thing of football a little bit more because every week is nuanced. So we'll continue it this week though, and because we're in the critical matchups, this is the meat stretch right here. Like if you're going to make the playoffs, you're going to have to rattle off some consecutive wins in these next couple of weeks. If you are not going to make it, it's because your team drowns in these next few weeks, and so we have to be ready. Conceptually, you got to understand fantasy football is a kind of a long season, just like the NFL. So we're moving into the next phase, right? Don't make rash moves. I've seen a lot of leagues, a lot of rash trades. People have a really different perception of players from week to week based on what their recency bias is. But I'm going to implore you guys to, once again, as I've been saying all year, settle down. Don't make rash moves. We can make moves if we need to. And we talked about the circumstances in which we need to, right? If you got 3 losses already, you should have well been, making some moves. That's unacceptable at this point. It's not sustainable. But don't make rash moves. But if something makes sense, let's go for it. Now, the complexion of the season changes several times. And so we'll continue to have to look ahead, even towards the end of the year. See, I'm telling you guys to, envision the next couple of weeks and look at matchups. You need to do that. But also look to the end of the year. Who can break out? Who might sputter out? And so you've got to have some plans in place for if these things, just, some conceptual plans in place. That's how you stay ahead of it in seasonal, and we keep the focus on DFS. That's the exact way to do it. So we crushed last week, not a lot to go over. We're on the tail of everything, so we won't belabor the housekeeping. Everybody's house should be nice and tidy at this point. And we'll keep our YouTube countdown going on. Top 5 football movies. Number 5 is the program. Number 4, Any Given Sunday. Love Any Given Sunday. Al Pacino, Jamie Foxx. This is a fun one. Always a fun one. I liked watching that growing up. I was in high school around that time. But I really enjoyed that one. It's not like a great movie, but it's a good football movie. LT, he's great. The Sharks, baby. Maybe they should have made a real NFL team, like in California or something like that. Who knows? Maybe they still will. And it's time for a little Would You Rather. We're going to keep moving along, folks, and play Would You Rather. 12 scenarios for the week. And first up, Jamal Williams or Michael Gallup. The Cowboys pose a great defense. Well, not great, but pretty good. And Jamal Williams might not have as many red zone opportunities. I know he's the guy in the red zone, right? Like they don't go anywhere else. It's him. But I think Michael Gallup's in a decent spot. Gallup is obviously playing behind Lamb now that Lamb is back, but I think Lamb probably gets a little bit more of attention from Okada. I might be saying that wrong, but you guys know the cornerback from the Lions, who's had mixed results this year, sometimes up, sometimes down. But I just think that there's going to be more of a tussle there. Gallup will probably be a little more free along with Schultz. And obviously they have Dak back too, so these guys are fired up. I'll take Gallup. David Montgomery over Jacoby Myers. No, I would take Jacoby Myers here. The Bears can't stop anybody. And that's through the air, on the ground. I think David Montgomery is splitting time with Herbert. They want to go the hot hand, and New England's pretty stout anyway. So could be problematic. Christian Kirk or David Montgomery. I would say Christian Kirk here. And I understand that he's going to split time with Zay Jones, though. It's going to be like sharing the slot, if you will. But I think one of them has the opportunity to score. Kyle Pitts versus Drake London this week. I don't particularly, care for either one of these guys, but if I had to pick one, it would be Pitts this week. And Christian Kirk versus Jeff Wilson Jr. I would say Jeff Wilson Jr. because he's still going to see the majority of the rushes, even though the Niners have CMC. It's just he's not going to be integrated into the whole offense yet. And I know that they will have to probably pass, but it's a run heavy team. And so he's going to see some run. He's a lead back, basically. Amari Cooper, at least for one more week, right? Amari Cooper or Kenneth Walker the third. I don't mind Cooper's spot this week, but Ken Walker is in a good spot uh, with Seattle going up against the Chargers, who haven't been able to stop anybody. So I will take that this week as well. Damian Harris or Drake London. I'll say London just because of the health of Harris is in question. Sorry, guys. Told you I'm battling the cold. Foster Moreau or Mecole Hardman. I'll take Foster Moreau this week just because Waller is out, and it's a pretty good matchup for the tight end for the Las Vegas Raiders. So we'll go Foster Moreau. We're actually recommending him in DFS this week for tournaments. And Gerald Everett or Wendell Robinson. Wendell's coming on after last week, a little bit of work, but Gerald Everett is a part of the offense in as far as the Chargers are concerned, and so I think that they'll need his services this week, and he'll be ready. I'll take him. Deontay Johnson or DeAndre Swift. Now, the Lions, I think, will have they'll probably have to play keep up and pass, and so I don't know how effective Swift is going to be. I know he should be healthy and fine. I'll take him though, because of his involvement in the offense over Deontay Johnson. It's not that Deontay Johnson has a bad matchup, but the quarterback and the offense are much downgraded versus the Lions and Swift and Golf. So we'll say Swift. And then Jamal Williams or Brandon Ayuk. So Ayuk this week. The Chiefs roll out two rookie corners. So Ayuk should be able to have a good time this week. Kareem Hunt or Romeo Dobbs. I would say Dobbs. But Hunt's not in a terrible spot either. I think I kind of like them evenly, but if I was pressed to decide, I'm going to go with Dobbs. All right, that is our would you rather for the week. Hopefully that helps you guys know who I would rather, given those circumstances for this week. And we can keep going with our top 5 football movies. After I, of course, blow my nose. Number 5 was The Program. You leading me on? And then number 4, Any Given Sunday, Mr. Al Pacino, excuse me. Number 3 on our list, Friday Night Lights. Guys, I love the TV show. I love the book, but the movie was cool too. I like the movie least between the 3, but in terms of football movies, it's still up there for me. Billy Bob Thornton did a great job. All the actors I thought did a great job in keeping true to the spirit of the book. If you haven't read that, you should. If you haven't seen the movie, definitely you want to do that. But that's the number 3 on our list. Any Friday Night Lights, The Program, Any Given Sunday, and now Friday Night Lights. Okay, guys. Now it's the time in the show where we reload. We'll start with Thursday. Arizona 42, New Orleans 34. We saw Hopkins come back. He did not disappoint. Ertz slid a little bit as we expected with the return of Hopkins, but still in a great place. This offense, they look good. New Orleans couldn't stop anything. They caused some turnovers, so Dalton's not playing particularly well. They got to want to see if they can get back Jameis, but it doesn't seem like they think that he's that much of an upgrade. Kamara looking more healthy these days, but New Orleans, the wide receiver room is a little depleted. They're going to need those guys to get healthy to keep going. Reload. Cleveland at Baltimore. Baltimore should win this game. I think, especially at home. Cleveland has a good chance to play well, though. They can run the football. And in terms of the pass, Njoku's not in a bad spot, but Amari Cooper's the guy. In 6 games, he has 4 games with 10 or more passes thrown his way, and that's a run-first offense. So we can expect him in tournaments to provide a little upside for us. But on the other side of things for Baltimore, obviously Lamar Jackson, everything runs through him. I think their defense could cause a turnover or two at the end of the game. I could see Brissett losing it that way. But Chubb, I like. Love Chubb, and Baltimore's been a little susceptible against the run. So Chubb, Hunt to a lesser degree. We don't mind him for seasonal, but for DFS, I don't think he can pay off like a smash hit, but he will still be in a good spot. Uh, any receivers that I like? I mean, you can play Mark Andrews for sure. You can never not play him. But outside of that, I'm not reaching. I don't care if Bateman's back or not. Baltimore's defense and the quarterback find a way to win this game for them. Reload, guys. Tampa Bay at Carolina. I know terrific time has not been looking so hot. I know the receiver room is not so great, but Fournette is coming on. He's catching passes. I think the run game can be solid this week. Probably a little too expensive for like DFS purposes, but should be great for seasonal. Roll them out, no problems. I think I hear everybody expects that they want to get the ball to Mike Evans, but Godwin is a part of this. Okay, um, over the last 3 weeks since returning from injury, he's averaged 9 targets a game, and so I think Tom's going to go where it's at, but I think Fournette could lead the way this week, and obviously the defense. We're loving them a lot. The defense is the mainstay here because Carolina has nobody. PJ Walker, no CMC now, so it doesn't matter what the receivers are, what the pecking order is. They've had the coach fired a couple of weeks ago. Tampa Bay defense is the best play here. This is why I don't expect Tom to have to push it. Okay, reload. Atlanta at Cincinnati. This should be an interesting game. Atlanta, we know they want to run the football. They're not going to pass. And Cincinnati is better against the pass anyway. So I don't think that they're going to be forcing themselves to pass with them. They'll run, but the problem is it's a mixed bag. You don't know whether you're going to get Algier or Huntley, or Damian Williams. So you have to kind of like, if it's seasonal and you need it, roll it out. But DFS, I'm staying away. And I think that the Cincinnati game plan is going to be more akin to what they usually want to do, which is pass early, blow you out, and run at the end of the game with Mixon. So he's going to pay off for seasonal. I'll probably avoid him for DFS. But Burrow, great for seasonal. He'll be popular, though. Chase, again, in a good spot. Not too much worried about A.J. Terrell. He hasn't been great this year. But I think that if they do try to give Chase more attention, this is the reason why we want to go with Higgins in cash games this week for DFS. And obviously, certainly in seasonal as well, Higgins. But as I said, we could expect Huntley to, or I'm sorry, not Huntley, Hurst to also try to be effective. Coming back to Atlanta, where he was tight end for a little bit. I don't want to say like revenge game, big deal, but it's a deal. I think this is the game that they win at home, though. Cincinnati rolls. Reload. Detroit and Dallas. Detroit has showed us last time they were out that when it comes to a real defense, real coaching, it's pretend. It's pretend. So Dallas, big time defense. I think this is a spot for them. I don't want any part of the Detroit passing offense. I think turnovers are in question for sure. But I don't feel the need to play Dallas in DFS. I might. Maybe I'll go back on that. We'll see. But the thing is, Detroit, most people are thinking that Dak is back. They're going to blow it up with Lamb. If anything, I like Gallup a little bit, but also the running game. Detroit's bad against the run too. So Zeke, Pollard, these guys are in a great spot. And the problem with recommending Zeke in a, I guess, like running format for DFS is because Pollard is right there too. He would need to be cheaper because either one of them could have the good game. I understand that you can play on both if you want, but I don't want to do that. I think that the passing offense can also be having a good enough day that not both of them needs to go off. One of them should. Dallas rolls, though, largely led by the defense. I think that just Dak coming back, you lean on Elliott a little, then, let Dak get his reps, and then you throw Pollard down the end. That's what I'm thinking. Reload. Giants at Jacksonville. Okay. Giant. This is a revenge game for Evan Ingram, actually. Giants at Jacksonville. But week 6, Lawrence completed 20 of 22 passing attempts for the second straight week. The problem, though, is he's going to face Wink Martindale, the defensive coordinator for the Giants, who loves to blitz. He's the worst quarterback under that scenario. So we like the Giants. We're going to pick on their defense this week for our DFS purposes. Evan Ingram, 5+ receptions in back-to-back week, drawing 16 total targets during that span. This is why we like him in addition to revenge game, because he actually can produce. Because if they're getting blitz like that, that ADOT is going to have to come down, and I think he'll be very, very prevalent. So this is a game that the Giants can go on the road and win. They're a better team than we thought they were, Jacksonville still has some work to do. The blitz is going to be too much. Reload. Green Bay at Washington. I'm sorry, Indianapolis at Tennessee. Don't want to skip this one because I know that Taylor is back, but Tennessee been pretty good against the run, but they also play Taylor pretty good too. So I'm not up for it. I think the path to victory here is probably, uh, maybe through the air with Pittman and Alec Pierce, who we really like. He's established himself as a part of the offense. Matt Ryan. You hate to depend on this guy, so we could do a tournament play with it, but as far as the receivers go, I think especially even for DFS, Alec Pierce cheap enough to where we're going to lean on him a little, as you'll see later. But Pittman obviously in play too. The thing about playing a tight end from Indy is you don't know which one they're going to throw to, so I'm not going to guess and act like I know. I do like um, Ryan for tournaments, just for tournaments, and obviously if you got him for seasonal, you need him, roll him out, QB2 or whatever for super flex, great, right? But that's the path to victory. For the Tennessee side, they're going to run it with Henry, is what I think that they're going to do. They're going to run it down Indianapolis's throat. They're coming off a bye. He should be healthy and ready to roll. And I see that as being the deciding factor in this football game. I don't think Indianapolis is going to be up for the task of stopping him. So Henry rolls, but those are the components of the Indianapolis offense that they'll use to try to come back. I think Matt Ryan might blow this one in the end. Reload now on to Green Bay at Washington. All right. Green Bay should win this football game. Washington's obviously not a very good football team. Randall Cobb's being carted off, so he's gone for several weeks. Tyen should probably become more of an option over the course of the next couple of weeks because Rodgers just wants to go to who he wants to trust. So in the middle of the field, your best slot guy that you like is gone. He's shown the willingness to go to Tyen as early as last week, right? So there's that to consider, but maybe not this week against Washington, who's pretty decent against the tight end. Lazard on the outside. Dobbs on the outside. These guys are in great positions, and I like Lazard more. He has a touchdown or 100 yards in 5 straight games, and he has seen at least 8 targets in the last 3 games. So this guy is on fire. Why go away from what works? We know Rodgers wants to push it more anyway, so I like it. All systems go. Could you play Rodgers? Sure, if you want to, but we need more upside than that, baby. I do like the fact that the Green Bay running game should be fine too. I can't play them for DFS because I do think this is a game where they get up and they run Dillon down the stretch. So Jones isn't as prevalent. So he's too expensive to play, but I can't. It's too much of a risk to just say Dillon. So I'll walk away from it. I don't need it that bad. But in seasonal, we feel fine about it. Playing both. Don't worry about it. On the Washington side of things, Heineke going to play for Wentz. So I don't. I'm out on a lot of this. I don't know if he's going to be able to get the ball to anybody. You like the running backs. I mean, that's the way to beat Green Bay anyway. So Brian Robinson, seeing more of a feature role, run it. Gibson, if you want to play them alongside each other, I don't think I get there this week, but you could do that if you wanted to. Gibson, I think catching passes makes a lot of sense. I don't think I get there this week, guys, but if you want to do that, after talking it out here right now, I'm just thinking about it. It makes sense, and that's okay if you want to or if you need to, more importantly. Reload. New York Jets at Denver. Denver, not a great team. Jets, better team than we thought. Coming along strong. Defense is playing good. Sauce Gardner get a lot of attention. The backbone to all this though has been Breece Hall. That's the dude's a running back. He's the real deal. There's a reason why the Jets are in front. So they're going to lean on him this week. Denver, very good secondary. I don't think they're going to have a lot of success. Wilson trying to pass against these guys. Patrick Surtain is going to shut down whoever he wants to shut down. The rest of the passing offense, I'm not high on it this week. Breece Hall, though, that's where you get your opportunity. But ultimately, their defense, I think, can play well, too. We've seen what Denver brings on offense. This isn't a great squad. I don't want to play the game between Melvin, Gordon, and Boone and Lat Murray. I don't want to do it. I'm out on everything they're doing. They just don't make a lot of sense right now. If they win, it's because they're at home. I'll take the Jets here because they earned that. They've been playing well. I'll say for Denver, Dolchik immediately stepped into a starting role, led team in snaps, routes run, and targets. There's only 3 targets, but he had 39-yard yard after catch score and a second end zone target that he just missed out on for the second touchdown. So Albert O was a quality stretch. The only thing about Denver is they're so weird. It's like they played Dolchik and only one tight end sets, right? But when they would go two tight ends, they wouldn't play him. So it's like, you know, this is not a lot to trust there. I don't know if I need to get there, but the Jets defense, I really sure like them this week against this Denver unit. Reload. Houston at Vegas. I think this is going to be a more contentious game than most people think. Houston's going to come to play. I think that Nico Collins is in play just because he has the ability to go over the top. They stretch him with big plays down the field. That's how they use him. Has an ADOT of more than 18. The Vegas Raiders are susceptible to giving up the big pass play. It's not the under stuff that kills them. So I'm all about it. Fantastically, all about it. I like him this week. Do I like Cooks? Yeah, but again, it's the under stuff that I'm more concerned about. I like Colin, and he's like 6'4". He has a size advantage on the outside, like, and he's so cheap in DFS. We're gonna use him to pay up for like Mahomes. Like I'm telling you guys, this is what we're doing this week. He doesn't need to do that much, but they're gonna need to keep up. On the other, well, do I like Pierce? Yeah, I think it's going to be an even game flow. Like I'm not expecting Burkhead a lot because they're not going to get blown out. I don't think so. I'm okay with Pierce. I don't think I get there in DFS, but that was a last minute decision. I don't care. It's fine if you want to do that. Season will feel fine about it, but just know that Vegas is a little more stout against the run. Tight ends against them, probably not. For the Vegas side, I like Jacobs for sure. If he's going to run the way he's been running and get the usage that he's been getting, then this is the offense to do it against. I like him much more than I like Carr against this Houston secondary this week. Adams can be a red zone target and get his. I don't have a problem with that, but I don't think he runs up and down the field this week. But we do like Foster Moreau filling in for Waller, susceptible with the tight end is Houston. So those are the guys that I would be looking for. Moreau, Jacobs. You could play Adams. In season, play Adams and feel great about it. DFS, you want to play it, you can, but I think I go other places. But Vegas will find a way to win this game. Houston just won't embarrass themselves. Reload. Seattle at the LA Chargers. Again, the Chargers, big problem stopping people on defense. Their secondary's having problems. I think on the ground, they haven't had a lot of success either. JC Jackson, big waste of time and money. They benched him last week, did the Chargers. So they're giving up the ninth most fantasy points per game to perimeter wide receivers. I know that this would say more of Metcalf, but I would like Lockett this week. I think Lockett can take advantage of this, and his price is pretty cheap. I have other ideas in like my cash game, so I might not get there. I might play it in tournaments, but I don't care if you want to do that. That's fine. I like him in play. Metcalf, yes, we can never doubt Metcalf. I don't think I want to afford that though this week, just because Ken Walker is also in a decent spot too. So I'm taking the chance on Walker and Lockett and leaving out Metcalf because the Chargers should win this game. They'll figure out a way to win it down the stretch. For their side, Eckler's in play for sure. Gerald Everett is in play for sure. Herbert, the offense is capped by the coaching staff. Like anytime they can run up and down the field like they did last week and have a problem scoring touchdowns, like that's telling you that that's schematic problems, right? And so I think Seattle's going to come to play, but ultimately the Chargers will win. I don't know which of the wide receivers, scores a touchdown. I think maybe it could even be Eckler getting a multi-touchdown day on the ground. But if you need to play Herbert, feel great about it. Don't feel bad about that. I probably stay away from him myself in DFS, but Eckler is fine. Everett is fine. Any of the receivers in seasonal, they are fine. That's it. They're going to win, though. Reload. Kansas City at San Francisco. Game of the week, right? San Francisco wants to run the football, but Kansas City sees the least amount of runs against them because they force you to pass. They just like blow it out the water, right? And so they're going to make you play keep up. But the thing about it is San Francisco is one of the best defenses. They're good against the run. They're good against the pass. Now, that being said, Mahomes is Mahomes, so I think it's a fair matchup. It's an even matchup. Juju Smith-Schuster has had 8 targets in every game this year except 2. One of those 2 games was this past weekend where he had 5 catches on 5 targets for 113 yards and a touchdown, so still a good game. He's had 10 or more fantasy points every week except week 2. He's been right there. Seasonal, you got to play him. If you've been hesitant, you might need that week. But as far as I go, I don't think I get there DFS wise. I just play Mahomes naked, and then Travis Kelsey, of course, always in play. I don't want to play the running backs just because San Francisco is good against the run anyway, and Kansas City doesn't really run that much anyhow. So it's just Mahomes. It's just Mahomes. We're going to play him in cash games. For the San Fran side, I want to get away from Garoppolo because I think that's what most people will try to play in DFS. So we'll stay away from it, right? We'll walk away from that. But tournament wise, we'll play it. And that way we'll get some exposure and tie him up with Debo or something like that. Because Debo Samuel's in a good play. Now, as CMC becomes the back, he's going to get less run, but that ain't going to happen this week. This week, we still got Jeff Wilson, so I think Debo can play his usual role. We like him a lot this week. He's going to be very effective. He's in play. Ayuk is also in play. As I said before, Kansas City starting 2 rookie corners, and so both these guys should have a pretty good day. Kittle, obviously in play as well. They will be forced to throw. And so it's all going to be whether Garoppolo can deliver and keep up because Kansas City's going to throw too. I like Kansas City to win this game, though. I know San Francisco's got a chip on their shoulder. It's a Super Bowl rematch from a couple of years ago. They're looking for revenge. CMC will see a couple of plays, but that'll be it. I think Kansas City wins this game. Reload. Pittsburgh at Miami. So Tua coming back. We can expect that, that really high upside version of the Miami offense. Obviously, with the way Pittsburgh's been playing, you got to feel good about Tyreek Hill and Waddle this week. Now, I know that they're going to get those pieces in the secondary back they didn't have against Tampa Bay last week, but even going back to the Buffalo game, they hadn't played well. So both those guys had to be in play, more so than just Gesicki, I would say, this week. The run game, not in a bad spot either. Mostert, just because Pittsburgh hadn't been able to stop anybody. So everything that Tua perpetuates, as long as he's healthy, is in the game, is in play this week. I don't see any reason to shy away from any of it on this Sunday night matchup. For the Pittsburgh side of things, it remains to be seen who's going to be quarterback, whether they clear Pickett or whether they have to go with Trubisky again. If it's Trubisky, I like this a lot less for them, but I don't think it matters ultimately. Miami has been pretty susceptible. Their secondary is banged up. Deontay Johnson should be fine. Pickett, I like him if Pickens plays. George Pickens, I like him if Pickett plays. But if Pickett doesn't play, then I would say Claypool is the other guy. But Deontay Johnson should be the constant, whichever quarterback plays. They'll have to be keeping up. Miami's pretty decent against the run, so I like Najee less this week. But hopefully he can get into the box if they can move the ball down the field. But Tua's back, Tua plays. I think Miami wins this one easy. Reload, and then Chicago at Cleveland or Chicago at New England, our final shot. We're going to make it a good one. Listen, New England's defense is going to be too good for the Bears. This is a one-dimensional team that does not even want to pass the football. New England's going to try to force them to pass the football. They're going to take away the run, but they're good in the secondary anyway. Their defense is in a great spot this week. There's the smash spot. Ramon Stevenson is in a smash spot. I feel leery about the other running backs. Harris, we don't know about his health or whatever, but Ramon Stevenson. You could play Jacoby Myers for sure. Like, it's going to be whatever Bill wants to do, basically. But we know we can't guess on him. But the defense is the one thing for sure that's going to win this game. Chicago going to New England as well? Yeah. Can't see them winning this one, so we'll give it to the Patriots over the Bears in a revenge against the Super Bowl where the Bears won against the New England Patriots. All right. That's our reload for this week. Hopefully that gives you guys a better idea of what I think is going down this week, and hopefully we nail it like we did last week. Hopefully that helps you guys out a lot. The final 2 entries on our top 5 for this week. Thank you guys for bearing with me. Being a little under the weather, as I said, because of the traveling. Like going from New Jersey to New York to Dallas to Los Angeles. You know what I mean? Like just a lot of different temperatures and climates. So, feeling a little bit of the sniffles as you guys hear. But thanks for bearing with me. Hopefully I'm paying it off by giving you more smash hits like we had last week. Number 5 on our top 5 football movies was The Program. Number 4 on our list was Any Given Sunday. Number 3 on our list was Friday Night Lights. Now, number 2 on our list, Remember the Titans. What a fantastic movie, guys. Always a favorite. Denzel did a great job. Sunshine. I feel like every like white dude playing with a bunch of black guys was Sunshine after that. But fantastic movie, tugs on the heartstrings. One that the whole family can watch, essentially, right? So it's like good all around. That's number 2. Remember the Titans. And then number 1 on our list. Hopefully, you guys knew what it was without too much thought process. You should have. It's Rudy, guys. That is the best football movie that they ever made about the young man at Notre Dame. I loved it. Hopefully, you guys love it. Remember seeing that movie for the first time as a kid. I always thought it was special. Hopefully, you like it too. But that's like all time. Like, how could you be against Rudy, right? The best underdog story ever told, essentially. Rudy. So that's our top 5 football movies. The program any given Sunday, Friday Night Lights, Remember the Titans, and Rudy. Finally, guys, let's bring it home with our DFS picks for the week. First off, let me just say, good luck to everybody. We're going to crush it like we did last week. Now, for cash games, we're going with Mahomes. We're going to pay up because everybody wants to do this other stuff with, Garoppolo, Ryan. I know you want to be slick. Burrow, I know you want to be slick. We'll try it in tournaments, but we're going to swerve again like we did last week and pay up for Mahomes, 7,800. Now, wide receivers, we got some options here. Debo Samuel, $7,600. Love it. Want to pair it. T. Higgins, $6,400. Talked about why he's the cash game play earlier. And then Alan Lazar, $6,100. Great value for his crush matchup. Lockett, $5,800. Love that. Pierce, $4,600. Nico Collins, $4,200. So we're taking kind of a gamble this week by going with some lesser names, lower owned, some scrubs to match with our stars, right? And so, but they're in good spots. I feel good about their ability to pay back their value or double it at least. Obviously, they do more than that, then cha-ching, cha-ching, we win. Tight end, Gerald Everett is in a great spot. Sensible price, 4K. He can score a touchdown. Hurst, he could score a touchdown. Guys, he could score a touchdown. Hurst, $3,500. I like it. But Ingram, if you need it, $3,300. We could bottom out right there. He should have a good game against the Giants. Running back, pay up for Nick Chubb. 8K if you can, man. That's their secret weapon. And Baltimore's not imposing against the run. We like it. Barkley, $7,900. Same deal. And play with the Giants. That's their horse, right? And Jacksonville should not provide that much futility for him. This should be a crush match for Barkley. I was close on Pierce, but I can't go there for price reasons. But you guys, if you want to do it, that's fine. Brees Hall, though, $6,200. We could do that. I will lock that in. Ken Walker, $5,800. We could do that and lock that in. We got to pay down to afford those receivers and quarterback. And then for the defense, we're going to go Bucks. We're going to pay up because most people ain't going to want to do that. And then we're going to go Giants, $2,900. So Bucks, $3,900. Giants, $2,900. Those are our cash game defenses. And then for the tournaments this week, this is where we'll play some of those quarterbacks that other people want to play and pair them with their adjacent wide receiver, right? So Burrow, $6,900. Garoppolo, $5,500. Matt Ryan, $5,400. And then Mills, $5K, because he's going to have to play well to keep them in this game. And they've shown that they're not like a team that's unwilling to pass to stay in the football game. All right, so Mills, 5K. Wide receivers, Jamar Chase, $8,200. Pair him with Burrow. Pittman, $7,400. Pair him with Ryan. Amon-Ra St. Brown, $7,100. I like it. They're going to have to use him to try to do something because Dallas is going to be all over them. So I like him as a tournament play because of the price and the bad matchup. Cooper, $6,100. Amari Cooper, I love it. Soft price, I love it. He'll be low owned, I'm sure. IU will play him in tournaments here because he'll be too popular to fit into the cash games. And then Dobbs, 5K. So Lazard in cash, Dobbs in tournaments. Kelsey is our tight end, 8K, pay up. Most people won't do it for some reason. Or Andrew, $7,400. If you don't want to do that, you can play Kittle at $5,300 and then Moreau at $2,800. As far as the running backs go, you can pay up for Eckler at $8,300 or Henry at $8,200. Crush spots. Then we go Jacobs at $6,500. And then we go Brian Robinson at $5,500, Kenyon Drake at $5,100. Those are our running backs. I was real close on Zeke and Pollard. but I think they cost too much. Jets is our DFS GPP play of the week, $2,600. Those are my picks, guys. Hopefully that takes us back to Valhalla, back to glory. Good luck. You know how to find me if you need, but that's it for this week, guys. We'll be right back here next week talking about how we did and getting ready to crush it for the following week. Peace.